most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
And I'm Jordan, nutritional health coach.
So this is a YouTube channel that's produced by Bob and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet. But we're veering off today, and we're going to talk, like we said already, with a nutritional coach. And what's the topic today?
We are going to talk about, in our opinion, the worst diet recommendations. Well, I should say, in my opinion, because I came up with this, and we'll see if you agree.
We'll see if I agree. I got a little knowledge on this, and that's harmful to have a little knowledge. But you got good posture. I got to work on my posture there. So why don't we start off? We'll go over a couple things today, and we'll make this a whole series. We'll talk about a lot of different ones. So what do you want to start off with?
Let's talk about calorie counting first. I would say in my field of work, this tends to be the most common, question that I get. I'm not a big calorie counter. To be honest with you, I've never counted calories.
Do you recommend counting calories even at the beginning to get a sense?
Yeah, for sure. If somebody has no idea and they've just been going their whole life eating whenever they darn well please and have no concept at all, then it can be very beneficial to do for a short period of time. But for most of us, we could kind of just ditch that and focus really instead on food quality.
Yeah, I found I am the personality type that would not want to count calories.
No, and it's temporary. That's the thing. Nobody can do it forever.
Right, they won't. And with a few exceptions, there's some people that are like engineers and stuff that want to chart everything. But I think it would be good for a short period of time because I think people will be shocked at how many calories they're taking in.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess when I bring this up about calorie counting and the negative impacts of it or how it's not so great is because not all calories are created equally. And the trouble is if somebody is just solely counting calories, putting it in an app, all right, I want to hit 1,800 calories, we're not at all talking about food quality. So I always really emphasize that instead because the trouble is not all food is created equally. 300 calories of something does not equal 300 calories of another food. So if that doesn't make sense, usually I tell people, all right, what about if I gave you a bag of M&Ms? All right, so that'll give you about 200, a little more than 200 calories. Or I could give you an entire avocado and you're going to be up over 300 calories. Well, in the calorie counting world, on your app, it's going to tell you go eat the M&Ms because you got more calories left, which I think we can all, from a common sense standpoint, agree that doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly.
So.
It's interesting though. I one time we had somebody on involved in nutrition, and he had a big bowl of just like greens and really good stuff.
Yep.
And that was equal to just a really little small bowl of M&Ms.
Yep.
So in that case, he's like, I can eat this whole thing.
Yep.
Or I can eat these M&Ms.
For sure.
So.
And with that, you can kind of talk about nutrient density too, not to get all like scientific and out there, but when you're talking about that example of that big, huge bowl of greens versus this little tiny thing of M&Ms, what do you get out of M&Ms? Like, honestly, nothing. There's zero nutrients, zero vitamins, zero minerals, negative. But out of this huge bowl of greens, you're going to get tons of vitamins, minerals, all sorts of good stuff out of it. So.
It's all good stuff. So I guess you maybe want to count calories for a little while. Then, because you're always trying to make this a way of life.
Correct.
Right? You're not trying to work out, do a diet for 2 weeks and then go real intense. You're trying to make a lifestyle choice.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. And usually if you set somebody up with something like calorie counting, it can work really well for 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, maybe 2 months if you're really motivated, but nobody's going to do that forever. So I try to not introduce anything to clients that's going to be a short-term fix. And
get discouraged and then you give it up and then you're back to square one or even worse.
Right.
So.
Right.
All right, when we move on to the second topic.
Let's do something else here. Another one, worst diet recommendations, I want to say, carbs are bad. We're told carbs are bad. Stay away from them.
That's really been popular.
It's been like, especially like keto diets.
Right.
It was the Atkins diet back, I don't even know when that was, 20 years ago or so. But
the thinking about keto, though, you can have some carbs.
You can
Right.
to a degree. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Depending on your body type.
For sure.
If you tolerate carbs really well, you can actually have a lot more carbs they recommend than someone who doesn't tolerate them well.
Right. Right.
So,
But I mean, the main thing, even if you're not doing the keto diet, we just think all of us, I get this a lot too, like people being told that fruit's not such a good choice because it's
right.
so high in carbohydrates. And I just, I don't buy into that personally.
Well,
My own opinion. Some people need more than
they
others,
have
but
really anti-inflammatory features to them.
for
A lot
sure,
of
for
fruits.
sure. And
And
a lot of us need some carbs.
yeah,
A lot of the population does. I think in the short term, like the keto diet, that can be a good tool for people. But I mean, talking about again something you can do for your entire life. No, not all carbs are bad. Fruits and vegetables are filled with carbohydrates, and there's a lot more good in those than there is bad, in my
now some
opinion.
carbs that might be bad for you. Now, the carbs from bread is not always good, right? Because you don't have the whole grain.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm not a big proponent of really anything good that's found in breads and
Sure.
pastas. And it's just the grains that we have today, they're just incredibly refined and they're stripped of anything that could possibly be good for us. So I usually tell people to get their carbohydrates and fill up on fruits and vegetables. That's really, what we
Right.
need. So
You really, if you want to stop anything, stopping eating bread, especially that's not
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
grain or full, I don't know what's the word now that you. Yeah.
To
Who
me it's
knows
all
what you-
bad. There's not
Oh,
there's not
sure.
really much good on the shelves anymore
And
as
of
far as
course,
bread
refined
goes.
sugar is
Refined sugar, for
is
sure.
a bad carb too.
Yep.
That you would want to avoid. Sugary drinks,
Yep.
desserts. You can have them, but just don't
Right.
go crazy on
A
them.
lot of stuff that comes in those middle aisles, that's
Yeah.
been advice that's been given for a long time, and it's good advice because there's unfortunately not a lot good in there.
So
So
what she's saying is, when you go to a grocery store, you want avoid the aisles that are in the middle. You want to go on the outskirts.
right.
It's all the fresh fruit and vegetables, and I don't know what's on the other side of the store. The eggs are on the outside.
Yeah,
my
eggs
store.
are on the outside. Yeah, every
Um,
store is set up a little
no,
bit differently.
yeah.
Obviously, not everything on the outside of the store is good, and not everything on the inside of the store is bad. It's just a good general rule of thumb that we could spend most of our time on the perimeter and stay out of the aisles with boxed foods and
Look,
all
Jordan,
that.
let's take one more.
Should we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay, got time for it. The last one we'll talk about today is eating a low fat or fat free diet as being in my opinion, a really bad diet recommendation.
It was.
It was. I
Yeah.
think people are finally starting to. I don't know. I think people are finally starting to not be so afraid of fat.
Well, I
but
think they're seeing what has happened. I mean, if you look back 30 years ago, I mean, I see videos of people or events that happened 30 years ago, and everybody's skinny.
yep,
I mean,
yep.
and they were eating fats
Oh yeah, yep.
galore then.
Yep.
And if you read up on the history of this, this was all just kind of a big mistake.
Yeah,
not to
it
recommend
was.
fats.
Yeah, we could go into a whole video on the mistake of what happened in history and why we started eating
Right.
fat free, but that's
There's some good
another topic.
documentaries out there on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, what things are you looking for that might be a good source of fat? And
I'll just kind of tell you if you would walk into my house right now and you would open up, let's talk about oils super quick. If you would go right above my stove, that's where I keep all my oils. I have olive oil, good quality source, not cheap, crappy,
Sure.
refined olive oil,
Yeah.
but good quality olive oil. I also keep avocado oil in there, and
that's what I started using based on your
after
recommendation.
the last one, yeah. And I do keep coconut oil around too. That has some really good uses as well.
That's not going to be me.
What's
I don't
that?
I don't like coconut.
You don't like it, so that's
no,
not
no.
going to be for you. But if you do like coconut, you will not find vegetable oil in my cabinet ever. You will not find canola oil.
Sure.
Well, I don't even know what some of the other ones are. Corn oil.
Yeah,
I don't use any
either.
of that.
Right.
Highly processed, highly refined, or refined. Excuse me. Other things: avocados, nuts.
Well, the thing you find out when you take in some fat like in this form, it satiates.
Yeah.
Satiates you. How do you say that?
well, not satiate.
Satiates.
Yes, yes.
It makes you feel full.
Right. Try a meal sometime where you don't have any fat. Like go eat a lean chicken breast and some steamed broccoli and nothing else. Or go have your broccoli, drizzle a little olive oil over it, and maybe, I don't know, but just that, even that small
Add some
change, for
fat. Yeah.
example, you will notice yourself staying full for much longer.
You don't find yourself rummaging through looking for something bad.
Right,
Because
right.
you're so hungry.
Yeah.
And this has been really, unfortunately, one of the worst ideas put on humankind right now.
I would argue this is probably should be at the top of number one.
Number one.
Yeah. But
your thoughts on artificial sweetener?
I don't use them. I don't touch them. I wouldn't
Okay.
tell
Even
anybody to touch
stevia
them.
or
I'll use stevia in small doses. I don't have stevia at home because I
So
don't
it's
really
the-
care for super
it's
sweet
the
things.
best
But
of maybe the evils.
correct, yeah. If it's in something though that I'm going to have, I'm not going to put it back on the store shelf. I will eat it, but who knows? They're probably going to come up with something in another 10 years that says that's bad because that's how it works. But I try to not. It's not in my diet every day by any means.
So we covered 3 areas today, and we're going to cover more of these areas in the future. So watch for the series on worst diet recommendations that we can you hear throughout the day. So from people that don't know what they're talking about. So thanks for watching.